It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sam Lesante. This is the monthly Mayor's Report. We're here at the Hazleton office, Mayor's office, Jeff Cusat, and we're very happy to have with us today two guests. Senator Dave Argall and State Representative Dane Watro. First of all, welcome to the show. It's his show, but I'm welcoming you anyway. Jeff, what's going on in the city?
I'm making you look good.
Darn right, you're making me look good. What's going on in the city?
No, we're getting ready for our holiday month. You know, we do a lot coming up at the end of November into December, and it's one of our biggest times of the year, most festive times. So we have a lot going on for the Christmas season and the holidays, and so that's our main focus now. We're getting ready to introduce the budget this week, and then move on to the fun stuff.
Speaking of budgets, first of all, it's nice to have State Senator Dave Argall here, and of course our Representative Dane Watro. Senator, tell me first of all, how do we look in the state of Pennsylvania? What's going on in the state?
Well, we're making some baby steps forward toward resolving the state budget. There's been some pretty serious debates between the House, the Senate, and the governor. And so you got guys like the mayor waiting to see, and a lot of other, school districts and Head Starts. And so, but I'm excited by the progress I see here in Hazleton. The representative, I represent a lot of different communities. I represent 102 different communities, and some of them have been shrinking. Hazleton, on the other hand, is growing and growing and growing, both in terms of the local economy, of the local housing. I know there's a need for more apartments, more homes, but Hazleton is pretty exciting right now, and I've never seen this kind of growth in some of these old coal mining towns.
Well, you hit the road when they gave you Hazleton,
yes.
Right? And the interesting thing that I found, and I've been doing these shows for 50 years, probably over 7,000 shows. I've seen politicians come and go, and just from my experience, what you've done and what Dane has done just been phenomenal. Working together, which is
you get more done when you work together.
And it would be
team.
such a great lesson for the entire state to work together.
I make them look good.
Oh, I know you do. But in all seriousness, I think I want to compliment the both of you and because you work together, and I'm sure you disagree on certain things, but in the best way.
Well, and the partners at the local level make it
no
happen.
question about it.
We just elected a brand new mayor in Pottsville, and I'm going to give him Jeff's phone number because Jeff can, I think, walk him through the do's and don'ts of starting out as mayor of a city like Pottsville or Hazleton.
Well, we do a Schuylkill report.
Yes.
Okay, and we used to do the mayor's report with Dave Clues. Mm-hmm. And Dave Clues and Tom Smith and Jeff Cusat have something in common. They love their cities.
Absolutely.
They absolutely love their cities. This guy would kill for Hazleton. And the same thing with Tom coming on, and what Dave did.
Yeah.
Dane, in your perspective of what you're doing, because the problem with you is you don't get around enough. You see, we never see it. You're in your house.
Talk to my wife.
His wife has a very different perspective.
Every time I turn around, he's either on the paper on my station or whatever. But give me what's happening with you.
Yeah, so first I want to thank the mayor for having the good senator, myself, on your show here. And prior to filming here, we were talking about things we wanted to discuss, and I said about relationships. That's huge, and I think that's in all areas, just not government. But government is showing that you got a mayor of a city, a state senator, and a representative all working as one unit to move forward. So I think that's very important. And one thing I got to say and commend the mayor on is that you could call him anytime of the day. He will answer the phone, except if it's too early.
He's taking care of his little girl.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, the mayor is quick to respond. He does not let any phone calls go unanswered. So that's huge. So
let me start with you on this. How important is it? Okay, because we see so much disarray in state government and Congress. How important is it for the relationships to work together, in your perspective?
Very important, because that's how good bills are created or good legislation's at least introduced. By sitting here, we meet monthly with the mayor, and he will say things that are that could be better to help the city and our surrounding communities. And the good senator and myself will take that to Harrisburg and try to put our heads together to figure out ways we could bring back, good possibly legislation, or at least have two entities talking, two departments talking. And sometimes 9 out of 10 times that's what it takes, is just communication.
Yeah.
Dave, you've seen this work with Penn State.
Sure.
How did that work?
We all came together with other representatives and other senators to save Penn State Hazleton. We did the same thing at Penn State Schuylkill. The loss of that campus would have been devastating to this community. And now that we've saved it, we're working together to try to strengthen it so that more students will go there in the future. That's good not just for the students, not just for their families. That's good for the whole community. I really think Penn State Hazleton has a very solid future here, and the only reason that it's still there is because we helped to organize an effort that persuaded the Board of Trustees that this is a growing area and that it deserves to stay there and grow for the future.
In looking at the development, okay, in the 29th district you're in, where do you see the growth? Where do you see concerns? Where do you see progress?
The one thing that I hear more about now than I used to is housing. Housing didn't used to be a pressing concern. It is now because of the growth. We have more jobs here. More jobs means more people. And so, you don't want to have too many people crammed into one house. And some of these, let's be honest, some of these old coal miner houses, they weren't built to last, okay? And so the representative and I have had to come up with some serious dollars for demolition and rehab. The city can't do that on its own. Hazel Township can't do that on its own. McAdoo certainly can't do it on its own. And so the thing that I like about Jeff is he's not shy. When he needs us, he will call.
Jeff, how do you see things growing in the city?
I think we have a lot of good progress in the last couple of years. I don't know if it's because of my two friends here that we all work together and we have a great relationship. It's we kid around all the time, but when we do need stuff, we get serious and we come together, come up with solutions and ideas, and really do just get things done. The housing is definitely a big issue around here. When you go into a place and you find people living in basements, living in converted attics, or you go in and see like the boarding houses, people with padlocks on their doors, it's very dangerous, and the price has shot up so high in the rents that people are now living unsafe. And it's a shame the way people have to live because of what the boom in Hazleton is like, and it's all around. The housing needs are so great right now, and that's why we're trying to do anything we can to get people to come in and invest money and develop Hazleton. We came up with a residential LERTA. Anybody that's willing to build a new residential property in Hazleton gets a 10-year of tax abatement. If it's 1 unit, if it's 100 units, or if it's like up in the Wilson, there 600 units. So we're trying anything we can to bring in housing that's safe and affordable for people to live here, because the jobs are coming. You could see the development that there is. 10 years ago, when I came in here, I was afraid there was nothing ever going to be developed. All we had was big holes in the ground, not a lot of enticing areas to actually build. And now, first Blue Rock came in, North Point, the Hazel Creek project. I mean, there's some major development coming in here. And we're looking forward to those job creations, because the more jobs, the more EIT we bring in here, the more services we could provide people. And that's what we need to do to be a surviving community.
And sometimes the government can help, and sometimes government just needs to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and we've worked together on some housing issues down in Orgsburg, in the southern part of my district. We had a local entrepreneur who took a old, vacant orphanage. It had been empty for years. They're now some of the most beautiful apartments in the whole district, and he's getting some amazing rents, and he did it all on his own. Because when you get government help, and government can help, sometimes there's a lot of red tape that comes along.
I was going to say he
And
gets
so
bombarded with nonsense.
he just decided he did it on his own.
We do a show also called the Hazleton Area School District Report, and recently we just taped the show with Upplinger. Now, one of the things, and we have people write in questions, email me, which we do for our shows, and I'll start with you, Dane, on this. The concern that the people were talking about the school district is the changes. You know, the people who are coming in, the different nationalities, the Hispanics, etc. How did the school district adapt to these changes, and how in your district do you see these changes, being made? Some good, some bad, but what approach should we look at?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because our school district is being flooded right now with people, and that's something on our end maybe we need to start looking at, because I believe the school district and what we do are two of the most scrutinized things that the public points a finger at. But I believe the Hazleton Area School District is doing a fine job, and I always defend them no matter where I'm at, because their heart's in the right place. Second, and the most important thing, is that student enrollment. I'm sure Dr. Upplinger could talk about that, and one of the things that they told me recently that they're faced with is how they have to accept the student population coming in there by a simple notarized letter. So that's a conversation that should be had with the Department of Education to see why that standard is like it is, which therefore, you need more teachers, you need more buildings, and
who funds them?
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Who funds it? Yes, that's the big question. So that's something I know that I just most recently started working on, try to get some answers.
Well, and in the last state budget, there was a lot of new money coming into Hazleton School District. We were able to convince people that with this kind of growth, they just couldn't do it based on, the old way. And when you talk about change, I mean, there's always going to be resistance, and I get that. And especially, I think, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like, that's not the way that it was. Sometimes the younger people, they just flow with it. I've got you've got a little girl. I've got a 2-year-old granddaughter. When she talks to me, my granddaughter speaks to me in English. When she talks to her other grandparents, this little girl is learning Mandarin. And so I have no idea what she's saying. But to her, this is normal. This isn't change. And so I guess we're all just trying to deal with the change that we see.
You hit the nail right on the head when you're talking about, the younger people just go right into the mix.
Yes.
But what you have is the people who are in their 50s and 60s and, been here. And they're, how do you make this change?
It's scary. I get it.
It is.
It really is.
But how they adapted to it, and I always asked Brian Upplinger this: are we getting our fair share from the state? And his answer is always no. Okay, and I said, well, I always mention your name and saying that you guys are working there as hard as you can. What's the problem?
If I could feel that one, Senator, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I was so happy with the vote last year to fund the historic numbers that they received in funding, from Shenandoah being one great
they got a nice boost.
A huge boost. Hazleton Area School District, Monterey City, they all got historic increases. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. But another thing too we got to focus on is our cyber charter schools, which is very important as well. Not brick and mortars is not obviously work for everybody. Education's supposed to be designed for each individual student.
Folks, I'm here at the Mayor's office. It's the monthly Mayor's Report. Mayor Jeff Cusat. Hopefully we'll be starting in Pottsville now. We'll be going back to the Mayor's Report with Tom Smith, and we'll talk about that in the Scoop Report. We'll take a break right now. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. I'm Sam Lesante. You're watching the Mayor's Report, as we do every month. We're here at the Hazleton office, Mayor's office, Jeff Cusat. Remember, I want to thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania, and that comes from the scientific poll with Susquehanna Polling Research. 56,000 of you are watching us every week, and I really appreciate that. And the most important thing I've really appreciate is the fact that we did the survey. 98% of you said why you watch the Sam Lesante Show, because you can trust me, and I appreciate that very much. Speaking of trust, we're here with Senator Dave Argall, who's no stranger to the area, and our Representative Dane Watro. Let me start with you, Dave, in terms of the Y. What's happening with the Y?
I mean, it's exciting when redistricting happened, and I'm the old senator in McAdoo, but I'm the new senator in Hazleton. It's a little confusing. And so the good mayor took us through the YMCA. And at that point, remember, you brought in a police dog because, it was dark, it was dank. We weren't sure if there were, people living in there that shouldn't be. And so it was really in pretty bad shape. Today, it's the pride of the community, and now they haven't finished all of it yet. I guess the pool, and there's still some more work to do. But in terms of childcare, which parents need, kids need, employers need, it's really doing well again. So every time I'm driving into the city and I see the lights on, I know that worked. And there was some state dollars in there, a lot of private donations too. So that's a real success story.
I want to say on one thing. He mentioned about priorities. Okay,
Yes.
Now your district is a lot bigger than Dane's,
Yes.
of course. How do you know what priorities? I mean,
You
got
talk to
Pottsville-
people. Yeah, you talk to people. And so, I'll be talking with Mayor-elect Smith in Pottsville, just like I talked to this guy in Hazleton. Yeah, I represent 102 different communities.
Yeah.
And some of them are tiny.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty big. And so it's not rocket science. You just need to sit down and work with people.
I mean, let me answer that question. 2 years ago, maybe last year it was actually, the mayor came, and one of his top priorities is keeping everybody safe. Emergency first responders, police, fire, and he came with the priority saying, hey, we need to get the first responder vehicles, and some grant dollars could be of help. And the senator and myself figured it out. We got it together and got some first responder vehicles for his fleet, and he was able to move some stuff around. I know the mayor always talks about the safety and security of our law enforcement and our firefighters for sure. But the thing there, Mayor, too, the HALO Act. Did anybody ever hear of that?
Yes.
It was down in Florida. That's where this law was established. And very proud I jumped on a co-sponsor with a colleague of mine. Our first responders, our police officers, they have a dangerous job. They're out there in the public, in the city. And I do say, Mayor, I would let my younger daughter walk around the city at nighttime and feel totally safe. I say that a lot as an example of how safe I believe the city is. However, we got to be respectful when our police officers are on a call for their safety and the safety of the public. So we just signed on that piece of legislation. I did, and hopefully it'll be moving at some point here in the near future to keep people at a safe distance.
That is something that's very important, and people, there are people that want to show up to an incident, both fire, police, accidents, everything, and they want to get right in the thick of things. And yeah, maybe you have the right to do it. Is it a good idea? No. First of all, the police don't know if you're there to help,
family members or whatever,
to be aggressive towards them. And then there's also the aspect of, that victim or somebody that's hurt or injured, you're putting them on Facebook or whatever that live is before their family have any idea what's going on there. And you could cause a lot of trouble with that. But someday somebody's going to come over the back of a police officer and somebody's going to get seriously hurt. Maybe they're trying to help, maybe they're not, but it's very dangerous. So they should have to be back. There's no reason for somebody to be right up in anybody's face on a call and harassing police officers and first responders of police. I mean, the fires downtown. We're at right across the street here, and there's people trying to walk up to the doors to see the fire inside while we're trying to fight the fire. It's just people do dumb things.
Jeff, with the time we have left, we're talking about veterans,
yes.
Okay, and the respect that we have for veterans, particularly Dane, what you've been through, etc. Let's address that a little bit in your perspective.
Well, one of my next projects is going to be, which I started already without you, but I'll be coming to you for some funding.
Oh, sure. Start something, then now you want to get
ready.
the money.
Here we go.
The one thing I want to make sure I get done before I leave, not that I'm going anywhere anytime soon, is I want to rebuild Memorial Park. I think it's very important. You know, people call it Christopher Columbus Park up there, but that's actually Memorial Park. And that dates all the way back to the Civil War, and the monument is from the Civil War. And I really want to rebuild that park. I want to bring out the 5 stone, the wall that we have outside there. The plan is to bring that up there, and I believe we have to add 4 more war monuments to that to create. But it's something I really want to do before I leave, is make sure that people understand the Memorial Park and it's up to date and vibrant. Because, you know, a veteran, I have a lot of respect for veterans. You know, I don't usually talk too openly about things, but a veteran is somebody that puts their own life on hold, their family's life, their personal life, and everything else, to go give up their life for somebody that doesn't give a shit about them. You know, a lot of veterans come back, they end up homeless, they get treated like shit. I'm sorry, but it just aggravates me. They come back, the government don't care about them. They don't get the proper medical care that they need, the psychiatric care that they need. And people go into this openly, going to war and to fight for people that they know they're not going to get respect for, but they do it anyway. Like, and that's, you know, it's something I'm very proud of the veterans. Maybe I don't show it all the time, but it's something that means a lot to me, is that somebody sacrifices everything they have for somebody that doesn't care about them in the future.
Ditto.
And it's...
Yeah, ditto. And that leads me into the question I asked you. We got about 2 minutes left. Dane, it really rips my heart apart when I see on television them burning the flag. I just can imagine the stabbing in your heart when I know people who have lost their children in wars. So that idiot, that putrid person, could burn the American flag. I can't even imagine what goes through, you know, your mind when you see that.
Well, I go back to, I believe our president just signed an executive order not long ago making that, well, which it always was, I believe, a crime. And I just hope it's going to be punishable by law and hold them accountable for that. Yeah, it's one of the most sacred things that I hold near and dear to my heart.
How much time did you spend in tanks?
No, quite a bit.
How much?
Well, it was like 9 years and 3 months, close, yeah.
All in tanks?
No, not all in
Okay.
tanks. No, a couple, at least 5 years in tanks.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time in a tank.
And the thing is that it's like our police force and you know, this Pennsylvania State Police, any borough police, township police, they're out there every day giving their lives, okay? They don't know whether they're going to come back and see their families again. So you may not agree with you getting a speeding ticket, you may not agree with someone, but they're there protecting you, and we should show that respect. I literally want to puke when I see some of these protesters doing what they're doing. I really do. And I wasn't in the service, you know, for medical reasons, but the point is you were there, and I know friends in parties who lost their sons. Yep. How that must feel, you know. I mean, I said to you, Dave, before the election, what the hell's going on with our country today when you look at the elections that you just had and the radicals that are in there? I mean, it's scary. I mean, I just, you know, I've been around so many years, and it's just scary. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
There's some scary stuff out there, but there's also some good things happening. And I know sometimes I think our local papers spend too much time focusing on the bad rather than on the good.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess maybe that's just human nature.
Yeah, yeah. Anything closing, Mr. Mayor?
No, we'll talk about Santa Claus coming up next.
Oh, that's right. Well, your daughter must be, you know, getting all excited. But she was around last year for Santa Claus.
Yeah, she was.
But she'll understand a little bit more now.
Hopefully she understands it. But we do have the tree lighting coming up on the first Wednesday, December. I think it's December 3rd or 4th, the Wednesday with Can Do, again, that big event. And then Friday, December 5th is the Can Do tree lighting downtown. We're going to have the 3 Santa Claus will be here 3 more times to go up and down the street with candy.
Good.
Dane and Dave are going to come with us this year. So they're going to throw candy.
Not that you have enough to do.
They're so excited.
Surprise, surprise.
They're going to come on Santa's sleigh with us and throw candy.
Senator, I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
You've always been there, and Dane, of course, you've been always there. I don't know when you find some time to spend at home. This is the Mayor's Report, my friend. Remember, Sam at ssptv.com, 570-455-7267. It's nice to be able to sit down and see what our officials are doing. You see what happens when you work together, my friends? You may agree to disagree, but a lot of things get done. When you agree, Dane and Dave?
Agree.
Okay.
Dead on.
We'll see you next time.